The state of the environment is changing at a pace that is alarming to us as humans because we see something that we love becoming something else.
The state of the environment today is an incredibly complex mixture of both very depressing things and very hopeful things. And I think as a conservationist, it's important to keep both of those extremes in mind and try to navigate a way down the middle.
The aim of my Fulbright was to bridge the gap between the local communities and the research institutions. A lot of the researchers there were trying to figure out how to reduce marine plastics in the region. What I learned at the Fulbright is understanding what the priorities and needs are of the people and how that feeds into conservation efforts. I think that the work has made an impact to community members and perceptions, and I know that there are some groups that developed out of this that are still active today.
I come from Utkarvik, or Barrow, Alaska. It's the northernmost community in the United States. I proposed to go to Iceland to really understand if there were any commonalities or what we could learn about food security, working as a part of the North Slope Borough Department of Wildlife Management, where we are here on the ground monitoring and assessing the environments and the species in the Arctic, whether that's going and measuring the bowhead whale to make sure that it's a healthy animal, or counting caribou to make sure that they are sustainable. When your people have been excluded from hunting the bowhead whale or hunting ducks, and that has always been your tradition for millennia, and you're in a position where you have to ensure that you have, whether it's the scientific information or being able to work with the managers, it makes it even more passionate to work in this role for my people.
I'm responsible for nature conservation in Iceland, pollution prevention, nature hazards. There are many issues that are the responsibility of an environment minister. So the biggest indicators of climate change in Iceland is probably the receding glaciers. Glaciers are melting. So Iceland has the goal of becoming carbon neutral in 2040. It is an ambitious goal. I really feel that we are at a moment in human history where we need all people who are willing to divert from something that could be catastrophic for the planet, that is climate change.
The project that I was working on was to survey some of the mammals that live in the canopy of the rainforest. The places that I picked have some of the highest canopy biodiversity in the world. It just provided a really nice entry point to introduce people to species and forests and environments that people don't necessarily think about a lot. In my current role, I work for a science communication organization where we help scientists tell their own stories, and we create videos that highlight stories about science. The experience that I had on my Fulbright really kicked off the work that I ended up transitioning into as I moved away from research and into science media and science communication.
I did most of my career with the National Park Service. I started in Yellowstone National Park. So it's so important for us to have everyone feel that the parks are theirs and that they are connected to those parks and they want to preserve, protect, and love those parks. Bringing that connection for people to understand or to see with their own eyes is so important for them to understand why parks are so important to us all. We think about citizen science as a way to create stewardship. People protect what they understand. If you can take a picture of something and you can connect to that something and understand its story and its place, you're more likely to protect it.
As a sketch biologist, I go outside and sketch living things, both to learn about them and to illustrate stories, multimedia stories that I write involving biodiversity and ecology and conservation. And I do that to help other people become connected to nature in a way that I feel connected to nature, and to help motivate people to protect the ecosystems and species of the world that are so valuable and so threatened and irreplaceable and really need to be protected. Being a Fulbrighter was an extension of that feeling, where it was another opportunity to participate in conservation projects on opposite sides of the world and just get a sense of how they all fit together, how big the problems are, and how we're all working towards solutions. And there's a hopefulness in that.
I think it's really important that citizens, individuals all around the globe participate in fighting climate change.
Amplifying our voices is one way of being able to affect change at a larger level as well. So even though it seems really difficult as an individual, I think it's really critical that people come together in order to really push for that change.